Welcome to the new episode of NEURO Business School podcast. Today we have a special guest, Irina Kaplunova, business agility coach, and we are diving into the world of agility today. So, hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, Sophia. Nice to meet you too.
We are thrilled to start today from that extremely popular and fancy topic, but I'm sure that not all of us know what exactly agility is. So, could you share a bit of your background, how you became an agility coach, how you started to explore that?
Of course. It's been more than 10 years for me now in the agility world, bringing agile to the teams. And well, how it started. A long time ago, actually, my career started with the fact that we started building a startup with my friends. And at some point, we got to... Our team was growing. And so at some point, we didn't know how exactly to manage it. We were like a bunch of people who had crazy, great ideas. But at the same time, we couldn't really understand how to break these ideas into smaller tasks and how to actually execute the strategy that we had. And so I started to deep dive into what is project management. And there I found Agile. And so I started deep diving into it, and this is how I found my passion in the end. But nevertheless, it did help us organize the team really well. We then sold this startup to one big Russian company. And yeah, this was the beginning of my Agile journey. And then I was working in the different positions. I was a Scrum Master, I was a product owner, I was an Agile coach. And 5 years ago, I accepted the invitation of IBM to join them as an enterprise Agile coach. And since 5 years, I've been working only with huge organizations when you're speaking about agility, not only on the team level, when you have a small team of 10 maximum persons, but when you're speaking about organizations which have 100 persons, 1,000 persons, 5,000 persons, and how do you organize all of that in order to be able to create value seamlessly, fast, and amazingly. So this is basically the definition probably of Agile, but I think we will speak more about the definition of Agile further, right?
I suppose it's the stunning explanation and your experience about the amount of years of experience, because I haven't thought that Agile is like over 10 years.
I will surprise you now.
Sure. So for the speakers who are unfamiliar with such topic, what is exactly the agility, the meaning of the concept?
Well, if I'm going to put it very, very simply, okay, so all the Agile coaches who are watching it, please keep in mind that I'm simplifying it a lot. So basically, Agile would be an evolution to the traditional project management. Whenever we go to the, business school, whenever we get the management course, they always tell us about project management, and they always tell us about something that is called waterfall and something that is called also Gantt chart. So this is a way of managing the project in which you are thinking ahead before starting it, which tasks you would need to do, and you're putting it on the timeline. The problem here is that the Gantt chart as the method was first introduced more than 100 years ago. And since then, the world kind of changed. And the problem with that is that when you plan beforehand, before the project starts, you're not actually taking into account all the different things that can go differently, all the different things that can go wrong. And so if you keep sticking to the plan, there is a big risk that you might not be going to the right direction. And putting on top the fact how the world was developing in the past 100 years, I would say, in the past 50, we had this crazy evolution connected to the tech, to computers. And in this world, it's incredibly important to be able to keep up with these innovation cycles. Because if you're not keeping up with them, in the end, you're losing business and you're not surviving. And so there was a really big need in updating what is project management and making it much more flexible. And so here is where I surprise you, Sophia. The first Kanban board, the thing that we use most in agility, this board where we have to do, doing, and done, was actually created first in Toyota in 1940s. So it's been more than 70 years since this approach starts developing. And so since then, starting from Toyota, a lot of different people in the management world were thinking about how to improve project management. And it all came down to 2001, it was the meeting of agile thinkers, as we call it right now in Canada. And there they said that all of these different set of practices which are helping us to make the project management more flexible, they are going to be calling it agile. And so agile became this kind of umbrella, philosophical, I would say, even umbrella, of different practices of a more flexible project management, which makes it much more efficient in the end. And obviously, right now, it's mostly popular in the IT world, and it's having some troubles, I think, into being expanded into more different industries, in more different, I don't know, in HR, in other things in the companies. But it is happening, and I think in 10 years we will see agile just being the project management. We're not going to be speaking about is it project management or agile. Agile will be everywhere. Personal opinion.
Sure, I believe in it as well. And if we go into the concepts, you mentioned about something that you apply during the agility, like the canvas or waterfalls, maybe the differentiation between them. How could you, for instance, select the most comfortable for the specific team or specific company? Like you, for instance, went to the company and see like, okay, guys, the canvas gonna be the most useful for you, or it's another approach.
It's always kind of like you always need to tailor it. The thing that we say a lot whenever we start the agile transformation is that one agile transformation will be very different from another one. There is no way to make it by the book. The way to operate efficiently for a tech company which is creating, I don't know, an online store and the company which is creating pet food, it's completely two different operational streams, and the way you will be agiling them, bringing more efficiency, will be completely different. So what I would say, of course, under Agile umbrella, we have lots of methods. But what I would advise every company is to start the transformation with hiring a good Agile coach who is able to do a really good assessment of your operations and suggest you the method which will fit you.
Wonderful. And how are those principles implemented? I suppose we are going like deep into your work. So basically, if the company never had anything connected with agility, or they had the project management but extremely old-fashioned, how to transform such companies who want to be up to date on time to improve their services and generally the speed of their work. And sometimes it's not only about the small businesses, but also like big companies who need this to be on time.
Well, first of all, they need to want it. And this is probably the main thing. There should be a lot of leadership support and pulling that in. Because in the end, any transformation is it's change management, and it's creating an uncomfortable situation for the people who are used to work the way they're used to work. And so, obviously, it's a very, very sensible, I would say, change management, and you're working with people. First thing that we do, of course, these are trainings, because first thing that we need to do is to change the mentality. We need to make people understand that now it's not only about just following the plan that was defined for them by the project manager, but it's actually about bringing your brain to work and actually thinking about what is the best way to achieve something. So, of course, the first thing, we really, really need to be changing mentality of people. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's impossible. Some people get stuck in the old mentality, and I have to be very honest that a lot of successful informations even imply that we are letting go a lot of people who are not able to adapt to it, and we're bringing a lot of new people with agile knowledge and agile mentality who are helping us transform all the others. And after trainings, obviously, we start the transformation. I think the most important thing is that in any agile transformation, it's not just about bringing Scrum or not just about bringing Kanban into the team. It's actually about creating an organization that enables agility. What typically big companies don't see is that the agile transformation will not only change their ways of working, like how do they schedule meetings or which agenda they put in the meeting. It will change the whole organization. It's a restructurization of the whole department. Because what essentially we're trying to do in order to boost the efficiency of the team, we're trying to eliminate dependencies. In any project, you will have dependencies. And there are just two things that you can do with them. You can manage them or you can eliminate them. If you're managing that dependency, that basically means that you're coming to that other team with whom you have a dependency and you're figuring out when they're going to deliver something for you not to be late with your project. But if you're eliminating dependency, it means that you're taking a person from another team who is able to do this exact task for you, and you're putting this person in your team. And that means we've just changed the organigram of the department. And this is something for that usually big companies are not ready. And so all the agile coaches need to be very honest that it's not only about ways of working, it's actually about redoing your whole organization. And this is going to be tough, but very rewarding in the end.
Wonderful. So you mentioned the dependency as a challenge, for instance, when you're implementing the agility into the company. What kind of other challenges apart from dependency and old-fashioned thinking you actually come up? So different stories from life. What could happen?
Oh my God, so many things could happen. You ask for a story from life. I'm just in a transformation. I'm leading a transformation for a very big international company. And so basically we're in the digital department where we are creating the digital products for 69 markets, which 69 markets for us are countries. So imagine we're in the global department who is creating the technical stack, which is being deployed to 69 countries afterwards. And so we started transforming one team. We decided to make an agile pilot. And so we took the team of developers, and these developers basically, well, they were already working more or less in the agile setting, but they never really had a good product owner to be with them there to prioritize the backlog and help them. And so the essence of our agile pilot was to train the product owner, bring it to the team, and make agile great and better. What we didn't really think about is that this company where I'm working at the moment, it's a French company. And so we brought the product owner who didn't speak French to the team who didn't speak English. And which challenge, you ask me, could happen in the transformation? A lot of challenges, because we are kind of trying to make them communicate efficiently, and we have a team who doesn't speak English and the product owner who doesn't speak French. It was really fun. So you can encounter anything. Like in the end, what we really need to understand is that it's all about people. It's not so much even about organization. It's not so much even about efficiency. It's about helping people become happy and productive and feel safety at the workplace. Because I think that we can all agree, and this is like a no-brainer really, the fact that if the people in the company are happy and productive, typically your company has an incredible success. And this is what we're trying to achieve with agility, and we always put at the core the people, not the processes.
As a short sum up, it's like you shouldn't wear pink glasses thinking about it. I'm going to implement agility in 1 month and it's going to change the whole company in the same second.
This is how they typically think about it, and then we get into troubles.
Okay, so lots of challenges on the way, and we have to think about it, that there are some risks when you're implementing something, especially like new, or basically completely recreating the way of communication inside of the company. Working with people, I suppose it's really hard because you could never predict what could happen, how they would react, and if it's going to be like successful implementation or not. Also, if there is a team of people in company, and basically, I suppose each department, they have some like one person who is leading that department, or how important the role of the leader in such teams, and does it exist? How
crucial. Once in the beginning of my career, I've been in the transformation where we didn't have a lot of leadership support, because the transformation basically started in the team of contractor, and they really wanted to involve the client into this transformation, but the client wasn't really like ready or understanding what exactly they are asking him. And so we didn't have the leadership involved, and I have to admit that this transformation failed, exactly because of that, from my point of view. So you mentioned a really important thing, that there are different departments could be in the company, and every department would have a leader. And what happens if during the agile transformation we suddenly understand that 3 different departments that have 3 different leaders who not necessarily have good relationship between themselves need to merge together? And suddenly there is a question, who is going to be their leader? So obviously, in this sense, we're creating a very uncomfortable situation for the leadership. So first of all, leaders need to be really trained on what is agility. Leaders need to be participating a lot with agile coaches and with the teams in the definition of where we are going. And it is very important to have just one very, very high level vice president kind of sponsor who is able to make decisions. Because no matter how much you train these department leads, if we got to the situation when we're trying to merge their departments and the three are wanting to continue being the lead, only the vice president probably would be able to resolve this trouble. And so apart from the training, of course, you need to be a good leader. And here we're not really speaking about agility. Here we're speaking about manager versus leader. If you are that guy who is a crazy controlling manager who is all the time micromanaging, it's not about the fact of agility. It's just you really need to learn what is leadership. So it's a mix of being a really, really good leader with agile training and with flexibility, because the transformation will bring change and you never know how it will backfire you.
Okay. And how it's possible to measure the effectiveness of the agility? I mean, for instance, we like the company, we had that idea to hire the agility coach. We are ready for the transformation. We started it and we had like, for instance, some investments to make it work, the wish from the people, but how to measure that all the processes are working? Because as I understood, it's also about the communication between people and how you could understand if the communication between like people is successful or not.
This is a really good question, because the metrics in agility, they change completely. We are used to have these super defined KPIs, which we're following from year to year, from the report to report. In the agile setting, it's kind of different. Whenever we start the transformation, usually the company has some trouble. It could be a trouble of their products not having enough quality. It could be a trouble of their time to market being very low. It could be a trouble of the fact that they have a lot of rotation in the teams and so they cannot retain the knowledge. It could be all of these problems all together. So typically in the beginning of transformation, we will think, which troubles are we trying to resolve with this transformation? And of course, we will insert there the KPIs, which will be helping us to see the improvement. At the same time, whenever we are putting agile in the team, we are launching something that is called Kaizen. We have a lot of Japanese words in agility because, as I said, it was in Toyota in 40s already. So Kaizen is continuous improvement. And so our teams meet every sprint, every 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, in order to think about what they could improve. And sometimes the team could say, guys, we believe that our code is not so good anymore, so maybe we need to have some KPIs on the stability or maybe on some, I don't know, the cleanliness of code. So we will introduce this KPI, we will be measuring it in order to understand what we need to improve. But maybe it's not going to become a KPI which we are cascading to our management. We're going to use it in order to improve our operations. Another thing which is really important about KPIs, so I did say that, of course, we have numerical important ones, but we decide with each company which KPIs they need to have because we need to know what to improve. But from my point of view, the best way of tracking if the transformation is going well are the perception-based metrics. And this is where all the project managers looking at me, their head is exploding because how can you base yourself on the perception? Well, easily. Here, one thing that I need to tell, the first company that started doing this was Spotify, and I think it's a really cool example. Spotify, if we get to know their history, like they are kind of like unique. They're this interesting startup that just completely disrupted the industry, although they already had competitors, so they really did something great. And of course, I'm not going to say that the only thing that they did great was the fact of agility, but we do in Agile world see Spotify as like a highlight, a star of agility. They have their own method. They started doing it many, many years ago, and they're very successful in it. And so I always suggest to all the agile coaches, all the scrum masters to check something that is called Spotify health check. Guys basically repeat this health check every, I think, 3 or 6 months, they change it from time to time. I don't know how it is right now. And what they do, they ask all the people in the company about their perception on different variables. Like, for example, what is your perception on the speed of delivery of our team? Rated from 0 until 10. What is, how do you think? Evaluate how our business alignment is going from 0 to 10. Evaluate how our processes are fitting to the team at the moment from 0 to 10. And if you repeat this survey every 3 months or 6 months, you will see if these things are improving. And from my point of view, really, this is the only metric which we can trust, because as I said, if you have happy and productive people who really believe that everything is going great in their company, their department, their team, you will have it really well functioning. And so for me, perception metrics are the best and most important.
Okay, and I would like to make a kind of step back to the leadership, because agile approach is basically, some people could find it too soft to control the people, because we still have the big companies who prefer to have autocratic managers, extremely strict, and they try to control, as you said, like every movement of your employees. And the employees also got used to it. They're extremely lazy until someone will go to them and kick them. Yeah. And if we will give them such freedom, like, hey guys, you have just to talk with each other, if it's going to be successful or not. And also people are talking about business and work and life balance. And here I want to make the correlation like between the speed of work and quality of work. Because if it starts to be softer, that's going to influence the speed and quality.
I do believe that it won't. I really love to meet in my path managers like this who are authoritarian and who think that if they stop controlling, everything will suddenly fall apart. What happens is, in the most cases, it will, because these controlling manager have hired himself people who are not able to think. And the only thing that this manager has created is hiring a lot of people who only listen to these managers, instructions. But whenever the manager didn't give instructions, everything stops. As a leader, do you really want to have this setting? I don't think so. Because as a leader in this setting, you don't have free time, you're not able to delegate, and you're all the time resolving some little fires. So from my point of view, being such a leader is actually not very sustainable. But nevertheless, we do have a lot of companies like this. And here we need to understand, I will not tell you which exactly scientific paper it was, but if you want later, we can put it here kind of like on the pop-up. But it is proven really, really with a lot of scientific researches that companies who do agility are much faster with much more quality than the companies which are managed the way you asked. The question here is, and we will also enter a little bit into the innovation story. When we're thinking about developing a great product, do you think the great product could be developed by only one hand, this manager? Or do you think the great product will be developed by a lot of different heads bringing value and bringing insight? I'm not going to be answering this question because from my point of view, definitely it's the second option. And so even when you have a manager like this, you're basically blocking the innovation. Do you really want it? Do companies like this exist? A lot. Can they improve? A lot. Do we allow them to continue existing? Yes. I will finish it like that.
Okay, because actually you just answered to my next question. It's like how the agility fostering the innovation within the team. And basically, if you already started to implement an agility, it's like it's already fostering the innovation, because it's not just one guy who tried to control everything by himself, not trusting other people in team. Yeah. It's basically like just the whole team, all the brains together, and I mean, obviously they're gonna be more innovative and creative than just the side, one view side.
It's more points of view, and even if we continue speaking about innovation, again, there is a study which proves that diversity is one of the main factors which is affecting the level of innovativeness of the team. So we're speaking about diversity in the profiles, we're speaking about diversity in the backgrounds, we're speaking about diversity in the genders even. So when you put a group of diverse people, cross-functional team together, this is where you will get the innovation, not from the instructors of just one manager. Coming back to a very important point, actually, about quality and the speed. I think it's a very important myth that we need to kill in agility, that we are only working on making things go faster. It's not true. I mean, agility is about common sense. Guys, do you really believe that when we are bringing agility to the team, we're telling them, guys, quality doesn't matter. Give us shitty products, but just do it fast? Of course not. There is a balance. And of course, this balance needs to be maintained. So common sense, please, to agility.
Wonderful. And the Foster Innovation team, I'm trying to get my thought back. So basically, if it's the diversity, and then everything goes to the leader, because if you have lots of opinions, they could have, each of them could have sense, but anyway, you have to come up with the idea or to select the right idea. And I suppose it's like a press on the shoulders of the leader who supposed to make that choice.
It's hard to say, because like if we get to the team level agility, we're really playing with the roles there, right? If we speak about the team level agility, so let's imagine we have a small team, we have 8 persons there, it's 4 developers and let's say 4 designers. Together with this team, we have working 1 product owner and 1 Scrum Master. So what we do in the Agile world, typically, instead of having just 1 manager managing the team, we introduce 2 roles, and we don't say who is the manager here. They are all at the same level. They are total democracy. They are all equal. Scrum Master, Product Owner, Developer, Designer, all of them are equal contributors to the team. And here, what is important? Why do we separate project manager or manager in 2 different profiles, in product owner and Scrum Master? Product owner would be the person who is focused on creation of the backlog. Backlog is the set of different tasks which we need to deliver. So this person will be talking to clients, to business, to stakeholders, to a lot of people to understand what's the next most important thing we need to be working on. So this is the person who basically feeds the team with the tasks. But meanwhile, we do have Scrum Master. And Scrum Master is a professional facilitator. It's not only the person who is really managing the process of this team, it's also a person who is trained to create innovation out of these people put on together to brainstorm and diversity and everything else. So there is a really big part of training of the Scrum Master on how to facilitate these brainstorms in order for the team to actually arrive to an aligned point of view between all of them. And if it is done well, we don't even need the opinion of the leader in the end, because if Scrum Master did the facilitation well, it means that by the end of the session, the team, all of the people in the team agreed in what we will do, why it is important, how we will do it, and nobody has trouble with that.
Okay, the only thought I have in my mind that it looks like Mafia, like you're playing Mafia with like hidden people inside your team. And you're like, you don't know who is who, and you're listening to the opinions, trying to find out.
Sometimes, yes, you cannot imagine, like Scrum Masters are super creative. We have this meeting, this session, which I was referring to, is actually called retrospective. It's like once per 2, 3, 4 weeks, they're sitting together to think about improvements. And Scrum Masters are getting super creative. Like I've been last week in the retrospective dedicated to Harry Potter. And so they've been using like all of these Harry Potter things, dynamics, Lumos, and all the different things in order to like put metaphoras and brainstorm on how to improve the team. So yeah, they could be playing Mafia as well in one of them, like easily.
Okay. And if we talk about the future of Agile, so if it's been created in the 40s in Toyota, so it's like getting close to 100 years. Mm-hmm. So how do you see the next step? What's gonna be next? How it would look like?
I think that agility was going really well before the pandemic started. We were really kind of like starting to become something that all companies got obsessed with. But once the pandemic came and like all this crisis and everything else, I think big companies stopped being so focused on like improvement, and they are more focused now on actually like putting the fires down. But at the same time, I believe that actually, as I said in the beginning, in 10 years from now, we definitely will not be speaking about project management anymore. It will be agility everywhere. And there are some things that we need to resolve in the agile community. The first thing is that we are not really good, doing good job in positioning agility. It still feels like it's still in IT, while we do know that there are many methods now already to do agility in marketing, to do agility in sales, to do agility in HR. It's just, I think we're not doing marketing well enough in the agile community. And I think this is something that is also improving lately in past few years. I think more and more people started to understand what real agility is. And I think it's a question of the timing. I think that really, I think the world needs another 10 years. Consultancy companies need more projects to bring agile transformations to big companies. And yeah, it's a question of timing, but I don't have any doubt that project management goes away and we're getting to a more flexible way and a way that makes people happier and more productive. I think that's the most important.
So basically, it's about pushing the borders. Like there are no restrictions. It's not only for the IT sector. It could be implemented everywhere. And the main thing I also suppose that we have somehow to tell people more that that exists, and you could have better results, making it with less effort and more comfortable way. Because I suppose the owners are also interested to have happy employees, because in the end, it's gonna affect their income.
No, but also think about Zoomers.
Yes, yes.
Like, I mean, when you're speaking about these traditional leader, traditional project manager, typically we are thinking about a boomer. Then we have millennials, right, who are kind of like in between. They are okay to go with boomers, but also they are more preferring to be quite more flexible. And then we have the Zoomers, which if they have the manager who is authoritarian, basically they will just leave the job the second day. So it's also about retaining your employees and creating the atmosphere for them that really fits their values and goals in life.
Exactly. I absolutely forgot about younger generation and like about myself, that what would happen if I go to that like old style company, being like constantly pushed with the amount of tasks, etc., with like free mind of people of my age, because like, hey, I just graduated from the business school, I can do this and that, but I also need lots of flexibility connected with like time, etc., because if you would try to ask me to sit in front of the desk like 8 hours per day, not like moving, standing out, I suppose for the younger generation currently, I mean, it's like a punishment. Yes.
Exactly.
I mean, I want to go to the work, but I don't want to go to the prison.
And imagine, and there are two ways now. So you're graduating, you're getting into the traditional company where they give you like a pamphlet like this with different instructions and processes which you need to follow. And you're there like, oh my God, to read that, I need 1 year. And then you're sitting there from 9 until 6, counting the hours. You're not able to go out of the instruction. You do only what the manager told you. There is no like really brain work, something interesting happening in your life. Versus agile organization, where every day you're asked for your opinion about things that are happening, where every day you're brainstorming with your team on what is the best way of doing something, where you're constantly learning and not just following some instruction. And I think for Zoomers, it's a much more interesting and natural environment, natural habitat, than the one in the traditional organization.
I suppose that the crisis and Corona also have the positive effect on the agility, because it also showed people that they could have such freedom, because we switched to the hybrid mode of work, that it's not compulsory nowadays to be 5 days present in an office. They give that like a bit of freedom to people.
And to be honest, for me, it changed completely my life. I hated going to the office 5 days per day. It's beautiful now.
Yes, and understanding that you are not only judged by the amount of hours your computer was open, but also they start to judge more based on your objectives, that the tasks you accomplished or your opinion. And I suppose it also motivates the employee, because if I would say from my point of view, okay, I can open the computer, it's going to be turned on, I can sit in front of it, scroll my phone, and yeah, it's like I'm pretending I'm working. But if I have to accomplish the list of the tasks, if I have to find my own way to make it, and I also have freedom to make them not only in front of my computer, but also whenever I could.
And whenever you want.
Yeah, I mean, it also increase the passion inside of me to work to that company and to bring some kind of an effort, be useful, be creative, because otherwise you ban it completely and you don't have a creative person, you have kind of a robot, but you forgot it's a human being.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying that we're putting people at the core of transformation always. And you said a very interesting and important thing, and it's about how to measure the productivity of the employee. And of course, you can have the employee who is sitting there from 8 until 6, and we can consider that since he is not late, he is the perfect employee. But in the reality, is it really about that? Probably it's about the value that you're creating. And in a typical setting of traditional organization, it's really hard to estimate how much value one team or one employee is bringing. But in the agile setting, you're seeing it every day because you're focused on the creation of value, not on how much hours you've been sitting at the table.
That's great because I have an examples from life, when one person in 3 hours could bring way more than a person who've been working the whole week. And yeah, sometimes such people happen, and not inside of the team, basically they're hated by others, oh, you got late again, or you haven't been doing anything, you haven't spent the whole week in the office. But at the end, the leader oh yeah, he's a cool guy because he brought lots of effort and value to the company. And I mean, everyone could pretend and see that they're working, but what is the result in the end?
Also, advertising for agility. In the agile setting, what I really like to do with the teams, I like to agree with them on the timing, because I don't think it really makes sense in the modern world to limit it to just from 9 to 6. Everybody have their own biorhythms. I hate starting meetings before 10:30. I have things to do in the morning. And so I agree with my teams that, guys, for me, meetings start from 10:30, but I will be working until 8 p.m. longer. And it's completely okay. And this also possibility to organize your life how you want in the agile team, just agreeing with everybody how it will be working is also super crucial, I think.
Yeah, lots of freedom, but at the same time, better results. And I suppose, the whole concept, it sounds like a dream. I mean,
I see it in the reality every day. I kind of making it, but yeah, it could be sounding like a dream.
I don't think that we need any kind of a sum up because all the questions been covered and everything is clear. I suppose there is no need to go to the to the list and repeat the same thing again. It was really nice advertisement of the agility concept, even though when the first time had a classes about the agility, I think everyone just fell in love immediately. It's been the only class when people haven't been scrolling their phones or looking to their computers. They've been sitting with open mouth and just listening, trying to understand what's going on. And I also advertised it for the future students, guys, you're gonna have that model. I swear it's gonna be the best one.
Oh my God, thank you, Sophia.
Because I still have that impression, even though after 1 year.
If you want to join this year, I improved it a little bit. Please join. I will be waiting for you there.
I will. Thanks so much. And regularly, we finish our podcast with a quick quiz. It's not scientific, nothing difficult, just the first thing that comes to mind. Let's start from the first question. How many cups of coffee does the Agile coach consume a day?
I don't know the average one, but for me, I guess it's around 6.
Okay.
I love coffee.
Okay. With milk or without?
With milk.
Okay.
So it neutralizes it a little bit,
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I've been worried about your health, but okay.
You should.
What do you call a group of developers in a room?
Magicians. Always magicians.
Respect to such guys.
Of course. I'm not technical, so for me they really do magic.
What's your favorite way to unwind after the busy day? You finish at 8 p.m. as you said.
Yeah, I guess dinners with friends. I really like dinners with friends, and I think that the pandemic brought to us something really great, because when you don't go to the office and when you stay home, you still have energy in the evening to actually go out and do something interesting. So yeah, for me, it's dinners with friends.
If you had any superpower, what it's gonna be?
The ability to resolve international conflicts with all the sides being happy about the resolution in just a click.
Wow, it's smart, because I mean it's not just like basic superheroes from the comics. It's like, oh, I want to fly, or I want to run super fast.
But I think this one could be really useful. Can we have this kind of superhero already here?
And what do you think about fails?
Fails. Fails are essential, guys. I told you about one failed transformation because we didn't have leadership, but all the other transformations were done really well because I had this fail. So I think that every person needs to understand that in order to succeed, fails are essential. And the earlier you understand it, the happier your life will be.
Thanks a lot. It's really impressive, encouraging, have lots of influence, to think about the way you're working, about the company you're working in, or about, for instance, for the students, what you're looking for in your future life. When you're applying to the internship or to the job position, I suppose it's gonna be like a smart question during the HR interview, like, do you implement agile?
It would be a very smart one.
I mean, because it's also an important. It's your confidence, it's your life, and to make the right decisions.
100%.
For yourself.
No, seriously, if I have to tell something to the students of NBS, guys, really, when you are choosing the new job, ask them if they're implementing agility. That way you will understand what's the mentality of the company.
Yeah, who are the leaders and what are the values.
Yeah.
And I think we went to the end, and now I just... I don't know how many times I said thank you, but thanks a lot for joining our podcast. It was a pleasure meeting you, talking to you again, and I hope to see you soon, but on classes.
On classes, for sure. Thank you, Sophia, and thank you, MBS.